and you can talk to a Trump supporter. Well, in my hometown in North Carolina, gas down 22 cents. Hey, dumbasses, I'm not talking about your local gas station. I'm talking about the country as a whole. Gas is up. Groceries are up. Egg prices are up. People are losing their jobs. The economy is on fire in a bad way, not a good way. So speaking of liars, I want to put up a Truth Social tweet that Donald Trump said himself less than a year ago. And I'm putting up this Truth Social tweet because I think it's very, very important to show you. He said less than a year ago, stock markets are crashing. Job numbers are terrible. We're heading to World War III, and we have two of the most incompetent leaders in history. This is not good. Donald Trump said that on Truth Social less than a year ago. And before I give you my commentary on that, I want to play you a video and audio of JD Vance. Again, less than a year ago. JD Vance is at a local supermarket, and he's holding up a dozen eggs. This is what JD Vance said about Kamala Harris while holding a dozen eggs less than a year ago. Have a listen to this.
When Kamala Harris took office, were short of $1.50 a dozen. Now a dozen eggs will cost you around $4 thanks to Kamala Harris' inflationary policies. Pennsylvania actually has seen some of the worst grocery price increases of the entire nation. And again, it's because she cast the deciding vote on the Inflation Explosion Act. I think we want Pennsylvanians to be able to afford groceries. We want our young families to be able to buy food at a reasonable price at the grocery store. And the only way to do that is to get back to common sense economic policies and fire Kamala Harris. This is a person who's presided over $1,000 increase in monthly expenses just to afford the same life you could have afforded 3.5 years ago. It costs you over $1,000 a month here in Pennsylvania. We could do so much better. We certainly will. And as the father of a couple of kids who eat a whole lot, we certainly need to do better for the next generation. God bless you guys.
Yeah, there you go. God bless you guys. Well, back then, eggs cost around $4 for a dozen. They've doubled now. It's up to $8. At least that's where it was last week. So who should we fire? So on one flip of the coin, less than a year ago, you have JD Vance doing a photo op at a grocery store holding up eggs that were $4 for a dozen. Now they're $8. And less than a year ago, Donald Trump was complaining about the stock markets crashing. What's going on today? What's going on the last week or so after these 25% tariffs? But it's okay, everybody, because Caroline Leavitt at the White House today said tariffs are a tax cut for the American people. She doesn't even know basic economics and how tariffs work. Trump said job numbers are terrible. Well, guess what? Since Donald Trump has taken office, unemployment has risen. Egg prices have risen. Groceries in general have gone up across the country. Gas prices are up throughout the country. And you can talk to a Trump supporter. Well, in my hometown in North Carolina, gas down 22 cents. Hey, dumbasses, I'm not talking about your local gas station. I'm talking about the country as a whole. Gas is up. Groceries are up. Egg prices are up. People are losing their jobs. The economy is on fire in a bad way, not a good way. But less than a year ago, Donald Trump was complaining about the stock market crashing. He was complaining about the job numbers, even though Joe Biden had the lowest unemployment rate in 50 years. And what a recovery coming out of COVID. It's funny how so many of these MAGA Republicans have Alzheimer's. He said we're heading into World War III in that Truth Social tweet. Well, what's going on in Ukraine right now? We just had an airstrike where Russia decided to kill a bunch of innocent people. 27 innocent people died, including children. They're no closer to a deal, and I think they're further from a deal than they were before, right at the time when Trump took office. What's going on with the Palestinian-Israeli conflict? It's no better now. Probably you could argue worse than it was 7 weeks ago. But less than a year ago, Donald Trump said we're heading into World War III, and that was the time where he said he could end the war in Ukraine in 24 hours. Do you remember that? He said we have two of the most incompetent leaders in history. Well, look who's in charge right now. Look in the mirror, orange orangutan. The country is on fire in a bad way. The economy is tanking. But yet, if you listen to Caroline Leavitt and what she said in the White House press briefing today, she made it seem like everything was roses. Everything was great when she doesn't even know how tariffs work. Look, very few promises did Donald Trump fulfill, and the ones he did are not working out very well. Starting with the pardons, the January 6th pardons. Half of those people whom are, I would say, dangerous, committed terrible crimes, violent. He did do that. And a lot of people have been deported, at least half of those people, nonviolent criminals. But what has he done for the American people? What has he done for the economy? What has he done for you and me? What has he done for people at the gas tank, groceries? And some people might say, well, you know what, Brian, it's only been 7 weeks. Give him more time. I'm just going by his own words. He ran on the fact that he was going to end the war in 24 hours. He said it pretty much every single campaign rally. He talked about inflation. A lot of people voted for Donald Trump because they thought he would lower prices. It's the opposite. Many of these people who voted for Donald Trump have lost their jobs for no reason. And the richest man in the world is running the show. Elania, as many people call him. And if you listen to the White House, and if you listen to so many people on the far right, talking heads on the far right, they will lead you to believe that everything is fine and dandy. As someone in the YouTube chat said, yeah, they got rid of plastic straws. Yeah, thanks for that. Donald Trump on Mount Rushmore. Let's make sure we get that. The Gulf of America. Boy, changing that name has really helped the economy, hasn't it? What a big deal. See, these are the things that some Trump supporters are focused on and those that are in office. But they're not focused on the real issues. And I've been saying that about Republicans for a very, very long time. They're not serious lawmakers. They're noisemakers, and they don't know how to govern. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. Really, what has Donald Trump accomplished? What has he accomplished in the last 7 weeks that would lead you to believe that things are moving in the right direction? I'm being serious. What has he done? I'm all open ears. What has he done? You know, we're in a crossfire now. We're at a time in our country where it's time to fight back. And Donald Trump is in it for himself, and he's in it for his tech billionaire friends. And the results are the results. And they can keep blaming Joe Biden. They could blame Barack Obama. They can blame George Soros if they want to until the cows come home. But the reason why the economy is tanking now, and the reason why the NASDAQ is way down, I think the Dow was down like 900 points the other day. It was down yesterday. It's down today. And the reason why people are struggling and their 401ks and their retirement going down the toilet, Elon Musk yesterday talked about an entitlement of Social Security and Medicare. The reason why we are seeing so much damage in this country right now, make no mistake about it, is in direct correlation to Donald Trump's policies. I start with the 25% tariffs, which are idiotic. The American consumers are the ones that are paying for it right now. That's certainly a part of it. And when you give the biggest tax breaks to the top 1%, you see families struggling. And you want to talk about families struggling. What about all of those undocumented immigrants, so many of them that are nonviolent criminals that have been deported? You think that helps the economy? Many of those people paying taxes, many of those people doing jobs that some Americans don't want to do. But you heard so many people on the far right that said, oh, that's not going to hurt the economy. Get rid of them. They broke the law. And those are the same people that are okay with voting for a 34-count felon. Listen, folks, these are the times that we are in right now. MAGA Republicans want to attack our brave men and women in uniform, and if some of them are not losing their jobs, you have Elon Musk that is calling Mark Kelly a traitor. And he called him a traitor for having gone and visited Ukraine, which many Republicans and Democrats in Congress and in the Senate have done in just the last several years. Many of them have made those trips and made those visits. But you see, Elon Musk called Mark Kelly a traitor for visiting our allies in Ukraine, which many Republicans and Democrats have done. That's why he called him a traitor. This is a guy with so many medals who risked his life for this country, who has a beautiful and wonderful wife, who almost lost her life to gun violence. She was shot in the head. Yeah, there's another thing that Republicans have done a great job with. All the gun violence in this country. Great job, Republicans. More guns make us safer. Yeah, way to go. Another perfect example of Republicans having literally no solutions to any of the real problems facing the country. But they'll talk about banning books. They'll talk about drag queens. They're obsessed with the transgender issue. But the real issues facing the country, they literally have no answers. They don't know what to do because they don't know how to govern. Again, I'm going to read this for you. This was Donald Trump's Truth Social tweet. Stock markets are crashing. Job numbers are terrible. We're headed to World War III, and we have two of the most incompetent leaders in history. This is not good. He put up that Truth Social tweet less than a year ago. Boy, that didn't age very well, did it? Because we are in far worse position now than we were when Donald Trump put it out that tweet. Americans are struggling. The buyer's remorse has already happened. And if Donald Trump is not blaming it on DEI hires and he's not blaming it on Joe Biden or Barack Obama, he'll blame it on migrants. He'll blame it on migrants. He'll blame it on brown people. They'll never take responsibility for their own actions. These tariffs, we all knew that it would tank the economy. I've been saying that for months now. We all knew that it would take the economy. But Donald Trump calls these tariffs a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing, right? Well, I think a lot of people in this country right now would tell you that it's not beautiful. It's not beautiful at all. Sean, thank you for your YouTube super chat donation. Shauna, I'm sorry, I apologize. Shauna, thank you. Greetings to all military retirees on this channel today and every day. Well, Shauna, that's very nice of you, and we certainly honor our brave men and women in uniform, Shauna. And the fact that Donald Trump said he didn't respect John McCain because he was captured. He called our brave men and women in uniform suckers and losers, and now you have Elon Musk calling Mark Kelly a traitor. This is not happening on the left. It's happening on the right. It's happening on the right. So my message to Elon Musk, Donald Trump, and so many of the people that voted for Donald Trump in this country is as follows. Many Americans, while ill-informed and uneducated, those who voted for Donald Trump, this is not what they signed up for. They didn't want to lose their jobs. They didn't want to lose their benefits. They didn't want people in the Trump administration saying that Medicare and Social Security are entitlements. They didn't sign up for this. Now, they might have been extremely naive in thinking that Donald Trump was out for them, but they are going to learn the hard way if they haven't already. But it's too late. You scream to high heaven now, oops, I made a mistake. I shouldn't have voted for Donald Trump. It's too late for that. You knew who Donald Trump was. We all warned you who he was. We warned you about Project 2025, which literally they're implementing already with many of his executive orders and what he's doing. We tried to warn you.